Welcome. This tutorial will cover how to use Blackboard Instant Messaging, or BBIM. If you don't already have a Blackboard Instant Messaging account, which, unless you've set one up in the past, you may not have one, this is not an account which is automatically created. However, in order to create it, you do need to log into Blackboard and click on the Blackboard IM link. And then click on Get Blackboard IM. This link will take you to a screen to create an account as well as to download the software. If you're using one of the machines on GRCC's campus which is locked down, you might find Blackboard IM in the Application Explorer or ZenWorks on your desktop to install, or you can contact IT help and put in a request to have them install it on your computer. If you're on a personal laptop or a home machine, you can log into Blackboard and go through these steps to download the software. Now, I don't currently have an account. I'm logged in actually as my test student because I'd like to show you the steps to create a new account. If you did have an account, Blackboard would know, and it would bring up a different screen here. Now it's going to create a Blackboard IM ID, and it does pre-populate this with what your ID from Blackboard is. In this case, it's my test student is mwilly_s. I think it's a good idea to stick with your same Blackboard ID for Blackboard IM because it will make it easier for people to find you. But if you want to change this, you can. If I click on Suggest More, it even gives me some options. I suppose I could go mwilly student. You have to put in an email address. So it's bringing over my GRCC email. I would recommend that you leave it connected to your GRCC email address because this is an instant messaging account for our Blackboard system, and so if you ever need to look up your password or have any questions, it'll be easiest if you have left things in their default state. Now you need to choose a password that's 6 characters long, and this is not a password that will change with the other passwords on campus. So I would recommend using a password that you'll be able to remember. Possibly one that's different from what you use to log into Blackboard, since this one won't change. And you want to select a security question. These are all really hard ones. I didn't want to give anything away, so I selected the security question, what's your favorite town, and I put in Grand Rapids. Want to be sure you check the box that says you've read and agreed to the terms and conditions. Oh. I would recommend keeping your grcc.edu email. Unfortunately, since this is not my primary login, it's bringing up an email account. I'll go ahead and change this ID to mwilly_student. I would recommend keeping this linked to your grcc.edu email account, but if you'd like to change it, you can. And then select a password. Keep in mind that this is not tied to any of the passwords on campus, so it won't change when your other password changes. So you may want to select a password that you'll remember, and maybe one that you like to use for passwords that don't change. Then just be sure you've checked the box that says you've read and agreed to both the terms and conditions and the privacy policy, and have successfully created an account. So here it has my information. It's also giving me the ability to download Blackboard Instant Messaging. It's a separate piece of software, so you do want to download it. It lets you download for a Windows machine or for a Mac. Since I'm on a Windows machine, Blackboard does pick up what operating system you're running, and we'll put this purple bubble next to the appropriate one. So you can click on that and then save the file. Keep in mind, if you're on one of the lockdown, campus-owned, college-owned computers, you will have to either request to have it installed or install it from ZenWorks. Now, I'd like to point out some of these course settings. You can change these later, but it will bring you back to this screen to make changes. Now, I'm only in as a student, so you would actually see two different areas down here if you were an instructor as well. And you can actually check and uncheck whether or not you want courses to appear in your Blackboard IM client. That means that if you're taking EN 101 this fall and you'd like it to show up so that you can easily connect with your classmates and your instructor for that class, then you want to be sure to keep that checked. Now, this will not disable courses that have previously ended, so you might see classes in your list from past semesters, and you can uncheck those because you might not be interested in communicating with students or instructors from those classes if they're no longer relevant to you. When you're all done, you can just hit sign out. I'm just going to minimize this window. I don't have to worry about the download. I actually have Blackboard IM installed on this machine already. And what I'm going to do is just log in with that username and password that I just created. This will be the first time I'm logging in under this account, so I'll be able to show you some tips on personalizing it and making some of the changes. So let's go on a quick tour. First of all, one important thing, and this is going to be similar to other instant messaging tools, is the ability to make yourself visible, invisible, set a status if you're away. So I could just change this to away. It will just tell people that I'm not available right now. I can say custom, so it'll say I'm away, but I could say something more specific like currently in a webinar. And then it will automatically let people know if they send me a message that I'm sorry, but I'm currently in a webinar. I'm unable to get back to you. And then if you don't want to be seen at all, you can change yourself to invisible. For now, I'm just going to leave myself as available. And I just want to point out 3 different tabs here. Your contacts tab, this is completely editable. You can add people either from your Classmates tab or by going to Blackboard IM, click on People, click on Add Contact. You do have to know the person's Blackboard IM ID, which is why I think it's useful to keep it the same as your GRCC Blackboard username. So I'm going to go ahead and type in MWillie, and I don't have a group yet here, so I can create one. I'll just call it GRCC Staff and click Add. Now it found Megan Willie. It added her to this group, and I can tell that she's online right now. Notice when I hover over her, it brings up this handy information and picture. I'll show you how to go ahead and edit your profile in a minute. Now if you click on the Classmates tab, I currently only have 2 courses listed, but this lists a Blackboard test course and then Megan's course, and it lets you know who your instructor is and if they're here available on Blackboard IM, and then it also lets you know what students are in your class. Now not all of your classmates may have Blackboard IM. If they don't have a Blackboard IM account yet, they're going to be listed under Without Blackboard IM, and they're going to be in gray. Now if this is one of your friends, a classmate, and you'd like to use instant messaging with them, you can click on their name and click on Invite to Blackboard IM. This should send them an email. Oh, I see, it's bringing this up in. But you can invite them. Now if you go to the School tab, there are some different general user names here. Not all of these are currently available. You'll see that they're grayed out over here. Student Employment Services, when you hover over them, it tells you a little bit about what this user is here for and whether they're online or offline. Distance Learning and Instructional Technologies is currently offline. IT Customer Support is offline. There's an Ask a Librarian. They are offline, however it says here that they're normally online from 8 to 5. There's one for the the Biology Learning Center. And then these last 2, they're actually both available. So the Business and Accounting Tutorial Lab and the Language Art Lab. So if you have a question and you're unable to drop in person, you could click here and then give them just a short description of what you need some help with. And they'll put you in a queue, and then someone will answer you when they're available. Now, if you click on Blackboard IM and then go down to Edit My Profile, you can actually put an image here and put a little bit of information about yourself so that when your instructors and classmates are trying to find you, or if they have you on the list and they're not sure, exactly who you are, this information can help them. Plus it just looks nice. You can either drag an image to this box or click on Choose Picture to bring up a picture. I don't think I actually have any pictures right now. But if I did, all I would have to do is select it. You can leave it blank though. I'm going to go ahead and click plus. I'm going to add a web page. That'll list it right here. This really makes the most sense if you would like to link in your staff or faculty page from the college. This is not a place to put links to web pages that you don't want to be publicly available. And since this is your GRCC instant messaging account, it makes the most sense to link to something related to the college. Now, if you're in the nursing department and you don't have a faculty page, or there's not a lot of information on your page, you could actually just go ahead and link in the web page for the nursing department. Okay. Oops, I put this backwards. And then just hit OK, and it'll show up here for users to click on when they look at your profile. There are some other preferences while you're in here that you can also look at and set. I'll just go right up to General. Appearance. This just lets you change some of the colors and the fonts. This is the default. Let's say you'd like some different colors. You can just click on a color, select a different color. So you can change this so your name will now show up in red. And this is only going to be for your software and your computer that you're making these changes to. So it's not going to change it for everyone else. And you could make other people who are talking to you show up in another color. You can also change the background and the text for the message window. So if we wanted to just flip-flop this so it's a black background with white text, you could do that. Down here you can just click here to choose the font, and then if you did something just horrible and it's not very readable, you can click reset and it will reset your defaults back for the appearance. These are just statuses. You can add some more here so that they're available from your drop down menu if you want to let people know that you are or not available. These are sounds under alert. I'm just going to keep all of those at the default. Now in Blackboard IM you can actually connect with someone using a microphone. So this calls area is going to give you some settings for your audio. Right now I'm using a wireless headset and microphone to make this recording, and so for the input and output it has selected that. Now I have other options. For now I'm just going to leave these in the default setting. I'm just going to leave all the check boxes here too. If you had a web camera it would show up here for video device, but I'm on a machine that doesn't have one. And then under privacy you can actually block individual users. And you can also, if you always, when you sign in, you want to sign in as invisible, or by default the system will let you know when someone you're talking to is typing. If you don't want that message to show, you can check this box, it won't show. And then if you don't want someone who outside of your classes or those individuals you have on your contact list, if you don't want them to see you, you can make yourself invisible. Now you'll see I just got a pop-up message. This is my one contact right now, and she's just gone idle. So it's turned her yellow and set up a message. You'll see those pop-up messages from time to time when others sign in and sign out. There are a lot of other options here, but we're going to keep this at the most basic level right now. So now that you're in here, let's go ahead and actually open a chat and start instant messaging someone. So I'm going to go ahead, double click on Megan Willie. We'll move this around here. And you'll see this is her picture. If I click on this arrow, it brings up her profile. So I can click send email, which is really nice. It'll let me send a message right to her GRCC email. And then I can click here to look at her web pages. So she has her GRCC web page linked here, and there's also her Twitter page. So, and then you can just click on this again to bring that back in. But I could send her a message. And she'll get that message and she can respond back to me. Okay? So you can get a lot of quick questions done really fast and on the fly. Now over here you'll see that when I roll my mouse over the smiley face it turns to a darker gray. But these are emoticons, which are little icons that you can use to express different emotions. So the smiley faces are the true emoticons, and then there are also some other little icons. So some of these may or may not be super helpful to use. There's a thumbs up and thumbs down, but then there are also some different sports, a little sleeping, a star. But you can click on any of these. It will show up in your chat window. So when you click enter, notice that if I go ahead and find one of these, let's go to the rainbow, it's going to bring up what the shortcut keys are for it. So I could actually type that in a couple times and I should get 3 rainbows now. And it's not until you actually send the message that you see those images. And to send a message, all you do is hit enter, and it just sends it to the other person. And they'll see your emoticons, and they can send them back too. Now you have some other options up here. So if you click on the phone, you could actually call Megan Willie. That would actually just open the ability for you to, with a microphone, talk to Megan, and she'll hear it through her computer speakers and she can respond with a microphone. This whiteboard, this little icon with 2 pencils, will start a collaboration so that you can share a whiteboard. You could share your screen if you need to show her something you're doing on your computer, or you can actually go on a web tour. So maybe you're having a problem navigating a website that you needed to use for an assignment. You could actually send your instructor or a classmate right through it and actually step by step through the same screens so that someone could see exactly what you're doing and help troubleshoot it. That's basically chatting in a nutshell though on Blackboard Instant Message. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this. I do want to point out that when you click the red X for Blackboard IM, it doesn't actually completely close it. It's still going to be located down here in a little icon. It's still going to be on, so someone could still send you a message. If you want to actually close it all together, if you click on Blackboard IM, you can sign out or you could exit, and that'll close the software so that if you're doing something where you don't want to be interrupted, you're doing a presentation and so you don't want those little pop-ups to show every time someone logs in or out, or you don't want to get a chat message showing up at an inopportune time, it's best just to exit the software altogether. Thank you very much.